Wow. Okay. Ew. I fucking hate dating in this day and age. It's the most disgusting shit ever. Point blank, period. And I've been just fucking itching to get my opinions out about this fucking topic, bitch. Let me tell you. Okay. In all seriousness, though, I really want to unpack the deeper meaning behind maybe why dating in this day and age is so fucking ghetto. But let me just preface by saying this is all opinion based, okay? I am not a fucking love expert. I'm not a fucking love coach. I just want to explore why it can be so frustrating and what might be contributing to the complexities of maintaining a relationship in this day and age. Okay? So, with that being said, hopefully after leaving this episode, you will feel like you have a deeper understanding of why this shit is ghetto as fuck. And hopefully I can help you rationalize why some of these things that we're experiencing are so unbelievably frustrating. Because this shit is not like how it was for our parents, okay? Let's also be very clear. I am still learning how to move when it comes to relationships and when it comes to dating, especially when it comes to learning how to hold my boundaries. I feel like I'm at a point now where I'm finally starting to recognize my own patterns of behavior, and I'm starting to practice putting those boundaries up. Sometimes I'm not successful, but I feel like I'm finally at a point now where I'm ready to talk about it. So let's fucking talk about it. So we need to address the obvious first. I don't think there is a single person in my generation who's not on some form of dating app, okay? Like, let's be real. And I have a lot of problems with this, okay? I hate online dating. Like, hate it. Like, okay, here's the thing, right? The whole concept is just insane to me. Like, you're telling me that we're just going off of pure looks alone to judge whether or not we want to get to know this person? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. That's just like so bizarre to me. And okay, don't get me wrong. I am physically attracted to people just as much as the next person. But what bothers me is that when it comes to online dating, this is like the deciding factor on whether or not you swipe right or swipe left on somebody. Like, really? And at that point, it's like, I don't trust your intentions. You know what I'm saying? Did you only swipe right because you thought I was attractive? Like, you don't fucking know me. You know what I'm saying? You don't know me. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I can't even really talk shit because I'm definitely guilty of this too. But that's the thing about online dating. Like, it makes it so easy that it's almost just normal to judge whether or not we want to, quote unquote, get to know somebody based on what they look like. Also, let's talk about all the different options under the what I'm looking for section. This is the best one, okay? This one right here. Figuring out my dating goals, and they'd be like 35. Like, my boy, you're still figuring that shit out? You're grown with 2 kids. What are we doing? What are we doing? I also really hate not having an in-person interaction with somebody. Like, the first time I'm ever communicating with somebody, I want to be in the same room as them. You know, like that's just so weird to me. Like, okay, we just matched on this dating app and now we're just talking and texting. Like, I have no idea what your tone is like. I have no idea like how what your body language is. You know what I'm saying? I don't fuck with it. I do not like it. And also, like, I feel like it just raises my anxiety so much for when and if that first meeting actually comes, you know? Like, the first time I meet you, I don't want to be shaking in my fucking boots. It's uncomfy. We just talked through the phone for days, and now I have to meet you in person. Like, I don't even know what you fucking sound like, you know? Like, and I also feel like more pressure to maybe act a certain way, and I'm far less likely to authentically be myself because I'm so focused on like how you perceived me when you first swiped right on me and when you first were interacting with me that I'm not like just authentically being myself. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm so focused on, okay, what were you thinking when you swiped right? Does that make sense? Hopefully that's making sense. But yeah, like, I don't know. I would so much rather meet somebody in the wild than meet somebody online. You know, because it's just too much pressure when you meet somebody online. I feel like in person, you know, you're already seeing me in my element, who I am. I don't have to like put on a facade. You know, we can just get to know each other from that interaction. But if I meet you online, there's no real room for me to kind of like speculate because everything's happening behind a screen. You know, in person, I can be like, oh, like, I see how you move. You know what I mean? I don't know. I will say, though, like, I have known so many people who have met the love of their life online, who are married and have kids now. But I've just decided that it's not for me. It's just not for me. I think I've had like maybe 2 dates that have actually made it out of the chat. Anyways, not the point. I guess what I'm really getting at is that online dating has become so normalized, like to the point where people don't go up to people in public anymore. No one starts a conversation. Like, whatever happened to the corny pickup lines and the nervous interactions in person? Like, can we get back to that? Like, I'd love to live in a late 90s, early 2000s romantic comedy if I could. But no, I have to settle for fucking Hinge. Like, really? You know what I mean? And I guess another thing, like, I also wish there were more opportunities to just meet people in person because I feel like after you graduate college, the dating pool of opportunity just shrinks, bro. Because you're no longer like surrounded by your peers 24/7. So naturally, most people turn to online dating anyway because apparently that's the only fucking way to meet people nowadays. But you guys, can we start normalizing talking to strangers in public? Especially with, like, when we think they're attractive, like, or we feel a vibe. And we don't have to make it creepy, you know? Keep it light, keep it tight. But fuck, bro, this online shit is just for the birds, and I'm over it. Like, give me something real. Stop being a pussy. Stop hiding behind your screen, get off Hinge, and go fucking meet people. That was aggressive, and I'm sorry, but I don't regret it. So, we're moving on. Okay. If there is one thing my generation has fallen victim to more than online dating, it's probably this temptation of instant gratification. Let me explain. There is a lot that I could unpack here about why our generation is so addicted to this idea of instant gratification, but I'm really just going to try to stay within the confines of how this relates to dating specifically, okay? There is something about receiving attention from another person in a way that feels intimate. Like when someone shows interest in you and they start throwing out compliments and they start interacting with you in a way that pushes the boundaries of just friends. Yeah, it's that type of attention that can feel so addicting, bro. If I had to trace this feeling of instant gratification back to something, I'd probably have to say that it comes down to how we grew up, especially with technology. You know, we always had that quick hit of dopamine. You know what I'm saying? Like every time somebody liked a photo, every time we posted a picture, every time we saw something on the internet that made us laugh or what, you know what I mean? Now, obviously, I don't fucking know. Maybe it goes back further than that. But the point is, it's showing up presently. At least for me. Anyways, obviously. And we just need to address this, okay? I wish I had time to unpack this further, but I'm not fucking Einstein, okay? I'm just observant. So here we are. Okay. Recently, I have been picking up on this pattern I have, and here it is. I will knowingly walk into situations that I know are not good for me because I'm craving that instant gratification. And because it's convenient. Hello. An example, okay? A man who is emotionally unavailable walks into my life. I know that. He knows that. What do? I throw myself into that situation with him because here's someone who's giving me attention. He's giving me that quick hit of dopamine, that instant validation that I'm craving, and it just feels good in the moment. And every time I'm like, I can handle this. I can be casual about this, but I never can. It never works out that way. I am not one that is good at separating my emotions from the situation. So it's like, if I'm into you, I'm into you, you know? And again, I don't know if it's that I'm into the attention you're giving me or if I'm actually interested in who you are. But either way, I'm allowing my emotions to control the situation. And now I'm in trouble because I'm emotionally invested and he's not, because he's emotionally unavailable. He is not capable of showing up for me in the same way that I am. And then I get hurt. I get disappointed when it's like, babe, you knowingly walked into that situation with 20 red flags waving in your fucking face. There may have even been conversations about this. And now I'm like, fuck. The only person I can be mad at is myself. Like, hello, I think I also, I love a man in distress. You know, I love a broken man, a short king. And I'm like, oh my God, how can I save you? How can I fix you? Oh my God, you need me? Oh my God, bet. Like, let me just drop my fucking panties right now. Like, what the fuck am I doing? Seriously. Like, seriously. Anyways, this is obviously so addictive for me, and I hate that because I've now found myself in this continuous loop with men. So I've had this experience myself of this, feeling of instant gratification, but I also just feel like it's so present in dating today. Like, if someone can just satisfy our itch for attention, if someone can just fill that void within us, or we can be the one that saves them, even if it's just temporarily, then we can have something to hold on to. And we can have something that feels good in the moment. And it seriously is like a drug. And I think a lot of people crave it. I also want to say that I definitely think men and women deal with these situations differently. But it's definitely worth noting that these patterns exist for everyone. I think it's a part of being human. We all crave attention. We all crave validation. But it's like, at what cost? You know, how long can we lean on instant gratification before we recognize that this is not sustainable? And so, I don't know about all of y'all, but I'm tired of getting my feelings hurt because of something that I could have prevented. It's time that we start becoming aware of our instant gratification patterns and not get involved with people unless we really do know how to separate our emotions from the situation. I can't do that. So I seriously need to no longer be putting myself in these situations because I just can't be doing that. And we'll see what happens next week. And I literally can't even talk shit because I'm literally in a situation like this right now. And it's a problem. I'm like, oh, I'll be fine. I'll get through. No. And I'm trying really hard to like shut the situation down. I really am. But that instant gratification has such a fucking hold on me. It's like ridiculous, you know? So we're working on it. We're working on how to set boundaries and how to be comfortable walking away from those situations because, again, it's not sustainable. It's in the moment and it's nice and it feels good, but deep down, I know it's not fucking sustainable. So we're working on it. Anyways, moving on. The point that I am trying to make, and I'm mostly talking to myself when I'm fucking, I feel like a lot of my podcasts, I'm like, you know, trying to preach, but then I'm like, I need to listen to my own fucking advice, like, seriously. So most of this is me giving myself advice, right? The point is that the more we feed into this addiction, the more likely we are going to continue to feel unsatisfied because, again, it's not sustainable. It's just convenient. So, talking to myself. Okay. All right. So, now that we've covered online dating and we've covered this addiction that we have towards instant gratification, the only thing left we have to cover is the pressures that exist in dating. Yay! We're probably not going to get to all of them today because I fear there is a lot. And let me preface by saying there are definitely common pressures that everyone can relate to, but I also feel like the way people feel about those pressures can be very different based on your experience, and ultimately I feel like that contributes to how you show up in the dating world today, okay? Because I believe that people show up based off of how they grew up seeing and understanding love, if that makes sense. And everyone grows up differently. Some people's parents have been together from the jump. Other people's parents have been apart since the time they could walk, you know? Like, everyone just has a different experience and understanding of what it means to be in a relationship and how love works. But ultimately, I think there is one common pressure that hopefully we can all still agree on, even though we may not have those same experiences, right? And to me, I think that is the pressure to maintain a loving relationship. To be together with somebody for the long haul. The good old ball and chain, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I don't know, maybe that's not a common pressure, but I look at it like this, okay? If you have parents that have been together forever, you feel the pressure to find that with somebody else. And if you don't have parents that are still together, you feel the pressure to not make the same mistake. Does that make sense? Like, the pressure to be with somebody forever is the same, but the feeling behind that pressure is very different based off of your individual experience. I hope I'm making sense. Hopefully, whatever. I, obviously, will speak from my own perspective. So my parents have been together for a very long time, like 20 plus years or something crazy like that. And I am very blessed to have grown up around two people who so obviously love each other. And I'm grateful that that has been my experience, but I also know that it's really rare. As I got older, I started to recognize that not everybody's parents stay together, you know? And sometimes if they are together, maybe they shouldn't be together. And so for my brother and I to have that experience, I'm really, really grateful because it's shown me what love is and what love can be. However, I think it terrifies me too, because now I feel the pressure to find a love like that with somebody else, you know? Like, and that's fucking terrifying. It terrifies me that I won't be able to find that I won't be able to find a love like my parents. So, anyway, I've also talked with some of my friends whose parents are no longer together, and they speak about it in a very different way. You know, they take love in marriage especially, like, very seriously, because they want to make sure that they're not making the same mistakes that their parents did. You know, they know what kind of hurt and trauma that they went through, and they wouldn't want that for their own kids. Sometimes some of them aren't even interested in marriage because of that. And I really can't speak on that too much just because it's not my experience, but I do know that this pressure to be married and to be together forever with somebody is still very real, no matter what your experience may be. Okay. Now, another common pressure I want to just address really quickly is this glorified image of what it all looks like, you know? Like, so often I feel like people online try to show off this perfect relationship and have this beautiful wedding and the most aesthetic pictures you've ever seen in your life. Like, fuck. There was a time when none of this shit even mattered, bro. Like, you couldn't just snap a picture and see it right away. Let alone post it at the touch of a button, motherfucker. Like, you couldn't even post some shit. And look, I know that no one wants to show the ugly parts of their relationship, and I'm not necessarily arguing that you should post those moments, because personally I do believe that should be handled maturely and behind closed doors. But what I'm trying to say is that There's so much filtration happening on social media that we all fall victim to comparing ourselves to others, just in general. But I feel like it's amplified when we see couples together, because it's like so trendy to be that TikTok couple and, do some cute shit, like, okay, annoying. And I feel like it just adds to the pressure of being in an actual relationship. Like, fuck. When you see this type of interaction online, it can make you start to question why you aren't in a relationship or why you don't have someone romantic in your life. I know, because I've thought this many a times. And I think it's even worse when it's your peers, right? When you see your peers posting about their weddings or, about their relationships, it's like, you want to feel happy for them, and I'm sure that most of us do, but we're still like a little bit envious, like, damn, like, now so-and-so's engaged and now so-and-so are getting married, like, what the fuck, But I really wish that we could get to a point where we didn't put so much pressure on that. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, because I feel like when we do see those pictures and when we do see those our peers post, we start making those speculations and we start wondering, and it's like we just need to put a stop to those thoughts. We need to recognize them when they come across our brain and be like, yo, look, that's their journey, not my journey. Let's be happy for them. We can be a little envious, but let's not dwell on it for too long, right? Like, our time will come. It'll be okay. So I guess I can't help but wonder if the pressures that we feel now, dating in this day and age, I wonder if they are similar to those of the generations before us or if they're just completely different. Just curious, because like, I'm being sarcastic, but I'm also like curious at the same time, because I would love to talk to an older person about what pressures they felt in dating, because now I just feel like they're amplified for these younger generations because of fucking technology. Anyway, because here's the thing, right? I would love to have a man stand outside of my house with a fucking boombox playing In Your Eyes. But that shit just doesn't happen anymore. Okay, that shit just does not happen. Moral of the story: dating in this day and age sucks badly. And I just needed to speak on it because this shit is ghetto. And despite my frustrations with this topic, I am hopeful, I know that our generation has become engulfed in this online dating and just engulfed in the fucking online world in general. But I don't think we're as far gone as some of the younger generations, let me just say. I'm worried about those little fucks, let me tell you. But in all seriousness, I still believe in humanity. I still believe that genuine connection is possible if people are willing to open that door. I also think that it takes a lot of introspection and understanding of your own relationship patterns and how you behave and how you react to certain things that might trigger you, for you to really be in a space to be comfortable and to be open to having a romantic experience with somebody that could be meaningful. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm kind of in that phase right now. Like I said, I'm recognizing some of the patterns that I have and why I always end up getting hurt. And a lot of times it is me. Sometimes it's the other person. But I throw myself into the situation knowing that that person isn't capable, And so that's on me, because I went in knowing the situation. So really, now I'm getting to a place in dating where I'm like, I'm going to be open. I want to meet somebody where they're at. You know, I'm going to be me, because fuck that. I'm not trying to put on a facade anymore. Like, this is who I am. No, fuck that. This is me. Take it or leave it. And we'll go from there, because I don't want to invest my time and energy into people who just aren't ready for it, you know? Like, fuck. And that's really the gist of, I think, this episode, is to recognize our own patterns in dating, to confront those, to recognize them when they come up, right? Like, why am I being triggered by so-and-so getting married? You know what I'm saying? Like, when you can pause and recognize those thoughts in your head and take a second and be like, oh, wait, this has to do with me. This has nothing to do with them. Then I feel like we all will be in a better space to learn how to be in a relationship with somebody that isn't just for instant gratification. It's for sustainability, right? Because now we're opening ourselves up. We're giving ourselves a chance to do that. So I feel like I'm just rambling at this point. I don't know if I'm making sense. I feel like this episode was a little bit all over the place, because it's something that has just been a big frustration of mine. And so hopefully you took something from this episode. You know, I feel like recently I've been trying to be a lot more comfortable with the mic and not speak so scriptedly, hopefully. So, yeah, but I think we all could benefit from recognizing our own behaviors and learning how to let those go and be open to new opportunities. So I'm gonna be done. I'm done. This is probably the longest episode I've recorded by myself, and I'm gonna fucking hate to edit it. But anyway, I will see you all next week, and thanks for listening. Peace.